You're tuned in to the National Intel Report, the Real Talk Radio Show.
Yeah, there you go. Don't have to remember the name of the show. Robbie Noel sitting in for John Stackmiller on this Tuesday, speaking with Buana Bob. New name for you there, Bob. Robin, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could address the Kissinger statement and then also a possible diversion on 9/30 based on our fiscal government year-end stuff.
Well, I can tell you that the government will not be going broke because they passed a emergency spending bill. So that's good news, I guess. Kissinger, Kissinger once said that Americans will stand on the freeways and applaud when the blue helmets come marching down. I actually watched that in real life, except there weren't blue helmets. It was National Guard on the freeways of Los Angeles during the Rodney King riots. I mean, people pulled off the 405 freeway and stood there as you could watch South Central Los Angeles in flames. And as the National Guard came down, people were applauding them on the side of the street. So, yeah, I've seen that in real life.
Well, I think that from a fiscal viewpoint, normally 9/30 is a significant date. Other than that, there's going to be no change. I don't think it's significant in any other part. Kissinger was behind the scenes working with the last Bush administration for 4 years. Most people don't know that. This is the same man that says that our military are stupid animals. And Kissinger has always been the arch Luciferian type. This man is absolutely mad, and he is a deranged person. And so we can expect those kind of comments from him. Not that he's dumb, because he isn't. But I see no great significance to what he has to say at the moment, because the players have changed. Team A came in for Team B, and from the Council on Foreign Relations and the Bilderberger Group and the Trilats, etc. And so Zbigniew Brzezinski is the one that's making the calls. In other words, he's point man this time. And so I would watch very closely what he does and says, because I think it would be a better indicator. I do expect 500,000 troops and mercenaries in Afghanistan, and they will move into Pakistan. And eventually Pakistan will be balkanized, but controlled by the U.S. and other troops that are being used in that theater. What their next objective will be, I don't know. And I think that the ongoing Afghanistan and Pakistan affair is enough to keep the military pot boiling for another 3 or 4 years. So I don't think they're going to let Israel attack Iran. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I do think the other things will happen, and that diversion will be there. But another thing which I alluded to before is that the total control factor that the Illuminists are used to having is not in their hands. They've had to expedite their program. I think within 2 years, and probably a year to a year and a half, that there will be an official default and depreciation of the U.S. dollar, and it'll be in conjunction with all other nations. And I think that's coming. And when it does come, the international powers will either attempt to use the special drawing rights, which I think for them would be a disaster. It's a dumb thing to do. What they should do is go to a 20 major nation currency index unit for trade and base that unit on 10% gold, and then they would have something that everybody would accept, and it wouldn't go too far out of what they wanted to do. But I think the dollar will be devalued by two-thirds. In other words, you'll hand in 3 old ones for 1 new one. And I think two-thirds of all debt will be written off. The other third will have to be paid in the way that Argentina did in 2000 and 2001. And that's where I think this thing is hidden. What's going to happen? We're going to have hyperinflation. Gold's going to go up. Eventually the system will break down, probably 2 to 3 years from now. And we'll go into a deflationary depression. It could happen sooner, but I don't know. I don't think anybody does. I don't think the Illuminists know. I think they're playing this by ear because their plans have been very much disrupted, particularly by talk radio, internet, and all of these alternative stations that are on the air, like this one here, has been throwing a monkey wrench in what they're doing. We are hurting them big time.
Well, on Friday, and Louise Yamada doesn't use any fundamentals in her analysis of the Dow and the gold markets. She's predicting a gold at $1,550 just based on her charting.
Well, she probably is one of the 5 top chartists in the world, as we've discussed before, Robbie.
Yeah.
If not the best. And we're always looking at fundamentals and sometimes long-term and intermediate-term charts. But if she's saying it's going to 1550, I would tend to agree with her. I think it can go anywhere between 1,200 and 1,700. I've stated that in my publication, The International Forecaster. And we're on the right-hand shoulder of a reverse head and shoulders. Now, for ladies and gentlemen who don't know what that is, it's a formation that occurs technically in the tracking of something. In this case, it's gold, it's silver, it's the XAU and the HUI. The XAU is gold and silver stocks that are hedged, and the HUI is gold and silver stocks that are not hedged. And it's already broken out. It just reversed slightly here. It's going to break out, and I think the 1,1700 area is going to be very doable. The next stage will come very quickly, and that next stage, we'll use Louise's figure, we'll say 3,000 in the second stage, which will actually be the third stage. The first stage we just went through in the last 10 years. After that, we'll have one more stage guaranteed, over 6,000. And then if we have a fourth stage, everything will go bonkers. And God knows where it'll go.
Yeah.
But that's what we're facing here. And anybody who is not in gold and silver-related assets that has wealth, if you're not in there, you're crazy. Because the train's leaving the station without you. And you're going to be stuck in real estate, in the stock market, in bonds, and you're going to lose your money. All these pension plans are going to be ravaged. I'm looking at anywhere between 2,600 and 4,200 on the Dow.
Oh.
And 38 to 4,200, I think, is extremely doable. And if we get there, we will be lucky if it stays there.
Let's go back to the phones, Bob. We got Alan in Texas. Hey, Alan, thanks for holding, brother.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. I wanted to talk about the dollar, but also in reference to the last caller, she made a good point about no one in Congress has raised the point that Obama has taken a highly unconstitutional position with his position in the UN Secretary Security Council, rather.
Yeah.
And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be asking my congressman that, Mike Conaway from 11th District here in Texas. He's on the radio every Wednesday morning on a call-in show, so I've been planning to ask him that. And, of course, he claims to be a constitutionalist, and he's far from it. But I'll be interested to see his answer, and I'll report back to you guys what he says.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that's good. And when you do say that to him, say you think you're a constitutionalist. Let's find out if you really are.
Oh yeah, no.
Let's
I give
talk
him a lot
about
of
Mr.
flack
Obama, etc.
No, he doesn't like it when I call. He knows who I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Notorious, infamous.
Anyway,